but I think I've also figured out a way to pack enough in a backpack
Okay.
that can get me around for like a week or two.
Yeah, you're an immigrant, dude. Of course you know how to pack a backpack. Welcome back to the Bobcast. Today I got Philadelphia comedian and fellow brown man. Please welcome Lakshmi.
Thank you, Bhav.
Woo! How you doing, brother?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, dude, I'm chilling. I'm happy to have you here. You know, just it's not every day I get to sit here with a fellow older brown man.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
I'm so glad to be here too.
How do you, like you have this great mustache. How do you think my mustache is growing?
It's pretty neat. It's pretty neat, I think.
You said neat, so it's not going too hot for me.
Well, not that way. I think everybody has a different face structure, right? Like, and I've always seen you, or for the most part, I've always seen you clean shaven.
Yeah.
Right. So that's the look that's sort of stayed in my head. You know, like when I think of Bhavik, I think of that look.
Yes.
So when I think of the mustache, I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know yet.
Yeah.
Maybe if you take off your beard, maybe you let it like, grow as thick as it can get.
Yeah.
And you take off the beard, then I'll know for sure. Okay, that's the Bhavik mustache, the Bhavstache look.
Yes, the mustache. Like, I see what you're saying. Like right now, I'm hiding the mustache within the beard as well. You just have the mustache, so
That's the way I've always been. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? Like, well, I do let the beard grow out a few times.
Can you grow a full beard?
Oh yes.
Oh, I'm so jealous.
Oh yes. I've done it a few times, but I've always got a lot of mixed reactions to it. Right? Like, did it one time when I was working for this company, and everybody was like, "Why is Lakshmi growing a beard? Is something wrong?" You know, and then it's tough actually.
Yeah.
It's tough when you get that kind of a reaction. You know what I'm saying? Like, then like
Where
everybody,
people hate your whole look.
people are uncomfortable. I should not do this. So
I
Yeah.
get it.
what?
People are like that with my mullet right now. Like some people have been like DMing me for like months, and they're like, "Yo, can you shave that thing off?" And I'm like, "No, I'm having a good time." You know?
Yeah. No, I mean, you're young. You should like try stuff.
Yeah.
Right. Like I can't have a mullet right now.
I see. Yeah, you can't. You literally cannot. You can have like one type of mullet. It'd be like it's like not party business in the front. It's like bald in the front, party in the back.
Oh,
If you just grow
I
out
don't
the
know.
back, yeah.
I can try.
Yeah.
I think a couple of years ago I just let it grow, and I got a fair amount of hair on the sides. So who knows? Maybe it's funny you mentioned it because I always wanted to have a ponytail, right?
Yeah.
But
I had
just
one for a little bit.
I just never, I was always in these corporate jobs, so I had to stay. I felt I had to stay, nice and clean.
Yes.
So I kept cutting my hair every time it would grow out, and it never happened. But that's something that I really wanted.
That was
never
always
got
your dream.
Oh, well, it was one of my dreams.
Yeah,
I
one
would
of your dreams. I mean, you can have multiple dreams,
Yeah,
not just a
for
little
sure.
dream that you wanted.
Yeah.
And the white man held you down.
No, not the white man, but
Just
I
the
think
man,
that's-
I guess.
yeah, I guess I think it's my own preconception, right? Like, I think it was me telling myself that I had to be neat and clean.
Well,
if I
okay,
was in a
how
corporate
old
job.
are you?
51.
Okay, so 51. I'm 30, and I feel like when you were probably coming up in the corporate world, it was a little bit more strict on dress code and shit. You know what I mean? There probably wasn't anybody really walking around with too much long, straggly hair. It was at least all gelled or something.
Not in the industries that I worked in.
Well, what kind of industries do you work in?
So I've been working in the customer support industry for forever.
Oh, right. So it's all just people behind. Yeah, they can just like. Do they come to work in sweatpants?
Yeah, the reps used to come to work and it was pretty casual for the reps.
Yeah.
But the managers, I'm usually like working with people from all over the world.
Yeah.
With clients come in, I'm supporting clients. So yeah, I had to be in dress clothes for
Yeah.
for the most
Especially
part,
if, you,
right?
if you're
Like
doing like client-based shit.
yeah, exactly right.
Yeah.
And really, to your point, right? Like the culture has really changed in the last like 5 to 10 years in terms of being more relaxed. And then once Zoom came in, like once we all started working from home and doing video conferencing, I think people got a little more comfortable in terms of okay, just wearing shirts, not
Yeah.
wearing pants. So, which is not the right thing to do, but I think, yeah.
I got caught one time not wearing pants. I went to go plug my HDMI or something, or like my charger, and I put my laptop down, right? And we were already on the call, and then I was just in boxers, and then my boss was like, "Bhav," and I was like, because I just rolled out of bed. I was like, "What the hell?"
Yeah, no, it's actually it's a question that always that I always go through. I do that sometimes.
Yeah.
Like sometimes the week has been a long week, and like on Friday I'm like, okay, I just want to get through this day, and I have a few meetings, but I'll just do them from my bed. Right? Like I won't turn on the video. Right? Like I will just stay on the audio, and I will just do the call from the bed. I mean, I question myself. Is that a really professional thing to do? Right? Like, but
Is it?
hey, I don't know. Well, let me put it this way. I think it's really unprofessional. I shouldn't be doing it. But yeah,
Is that you talking? Or
everyone, yeah, no, it's absolutely my personal point of view.
Okay.
Right? Like, I mean, I don't think I should be doing it. Like, especially when I try to avoid it when I'm on a client call. Right? Like when if I'm talking to my own colleagues, like we're doing something internal, I would take the liberty. I try not to do it on a client call, but I'm not perfect. I gotta say that. I got it. If there's one thing I'm perfect about, it's admitting my mistakes.
Yes. I think that's so funny. When I started first doing like interviews, when I got off my bender, I was like doing these job interviews from home. And I was just wearing like almost like a button down, but like maybe like a button open, not like even a suit jacket. And then I eventually told my friends, and they're like, "You're not wearing a suit, like a full suit?" And I was like, "Nah, dude, I'm at home, like, and they're like, "That's why you're not getting these jobs." I was like,
that makes a lot of sense, and it actually happened. The exact same thing happened to me,
Yeah.
right? Like I was doing all these interviews in dress shirts. Like I was not like doing it in t-shirts or anything, but I was doing all these interviews in dress shirts. But then my cousin, I was staying with my cousin for like a week. He told me, he said like, put on a jacket.
Yeah.
Like, I know it's a video conference, but just put on a jacket. Like so, and then sooner than you know it, I had a job. So yeah, I don't question that at all. I think
it's the fucking jacket luxury.
yeah, I know. I think especially for the brown man.
Yeah.
I think it
makes us look very, very good.
Yeah, exactly. It makes us look very good.
A plus. Were you a good student? Okay, hold on. Before I even wait, did you worked your way up probably, right? Or did you just end up in like management?
No, yeah. I mean, we all have to work our way up. I don't think there's nobody.
Like, did you ever do like the actual customer service calls?
I did. It was a little different when I started out, right? Like I started in a little bit of a different setup. Like, so I was working in a software company doing marketing communications.
Okay.
And that company had inherited a database of the top IT buyers in different companies in America, but nothing was being done with the database.
Right.
So the managing director of the company said, I want somebody to call these companies and one, validate if these people are the right IT buyers, and two, if they are, try and get an appointment for our field sales staff.
Yes.
So yeah, that's how I started. Right?
And
like that's the kind of phone
conversations
I was having, right?
Yeah.
Like, so I was calling companies in the US from India. So yeah, pretty much if you think about it, yeah, I started as a rep from that perspective. And then the experiment was working. So we added more people. I got to manage that team and sort of that became the natural progression, right? And then I went on to other companies. The call center industry in India became like really big. It started.
Oh,
like,
yes.
Yeah, it just
Were
blowing up.
you were probably there for that.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened, right? Like, so the early
Tell me about that, dude.
yeah, the early 2000s, the call center industry like just blew up, right? Like because
I love that.
yeah, I mean America had already outsourced software to India, right? Like, so all the software development was being in countries like India, and then call centers too, because the second largest English speaking population in the world.
Yeah.
Right? Like, so reliable English speaking skills, right? Great technical skills.
Oh, of
It was
course.
a perfect combination,
Yeah.
right? So that happened, and sooner than you know it, like I had just like almost propitiously become part of this experiment. At a time, it was almost like I was getting myself ready for the call center industry, right? Like, and then so when that
They were grooming you.
when that exercise ended, and I just decided to okay, you know what, like I think I've spent the last 2-3 years doing something meaningful. The call center industry is just starting to bloom. Let me go and try my hand at it. And yeah, I did start as a manager, but then I think it's been a learning journey all the way, right? Like, just
I believe that.
Yeah.
I only ask if you ever did the rep part, because do you find that enjoyable, calling these people, talking to them? Because I considered doing call support for technical or whatever. You know what I mean? It could be anything. Just calling someone. It could be like fucking vacations. I don't fucking know. But like, just so I can get an at-home job. But some of my peers and my parents tell me that is a very bad idea. And but do you enjoy talking to these people?
So, at the time when I did it, I really enjoyed it.
Okay.
Let me tell you why. Well, I grew up in South India. I grew up in Chennai, right? Like, it's okay. My English speaking skill, I was blessed enough to go to a school where the medium of instruction was English.
Yeah.
So, thanks to my parents, they sent me to a good school. I was able to speak English. At the same time, right? Number one, the accent. I still have a very strong accent, right? Like, you can tell, right?
Yeah,
It wasn't any different when I was like 25 or 22 years old, early in my career in this software company.
Yeah.
At the same, and what excited me about that opportunity was talking to Americans, right? Like, and finding my way through these organizations, because one of the biggest challenges was not all the information in the database was accurate, right? Like, so I really had to like I would start with a number, I would call, I would ask for the person listed in that database, but that person may not have been the right person, or that person may not have been in that company any longer. So I had to find my way through, like,
each
talking
organization,
to different executive assistants, or like, so junior level staff, to get to the right person. I mean, it grew on me, honestly. I enjoyed it for the time I did it, right? And when you got to the outcome, right? Like, when you actually speak to one of the people who was responsible, and they said, "Okay, I'm willing to talk to you guys. Like, let me give you an appointment." When that happened, like, it was a fun feeling. It was a fun feeling. It gave me the same high that I get today when I get laughs for my jokes.
Of course.
Yeah. So, I mean, it was an interesting journey, but then at some point, I think just natural progression, right? Like, it was working with just one or two people who started the exercise. And then I got to build a team of 25 people, and just naturally became the manager, and then went on to do managerial roles.
Of course. Well, now you're just this old, beautiful Indian man, so that's all you should be doing. You should just be managing, telling people, "Hey, I've done this shit. Get to work, buddy."
Well, I wish it was like that. It's not like that. And I'm known to be a little over aggressive when it comes to things like that. Like I've got
You
into
over.
I've got into trouble actually doing that, right? Like I
Wow.
was young and wild at one point, right? Like I was like, I know everything. Like you guys should only do what I say, right? Like
Yeah.
and then I got the feedback that I shouldn't be doing that, and I had to course correct. So I mean, I think we all go through our different experiences, right? Like to your
Yeah.
point, yeah. Every I mean, I by far you made a very interesting expression, Lakshmi. You aggressive, right? I mean, I think um, I want to be a nice guy,
Yeah.
right? Like I
We
think
all do,
it's
dude.
yeah, exactly, right? Like I'm sure, right? Like like somebody once told me actually that between being good and being likable, I would choose being likable any day, right? Like one of my good friends, he holds a really high position on Wall Street,
Yeah.
right? Like and he said this to me, and I mean, it's not that
Is
I
he
want.
likable?
Yes,
Yes.
absolutely.
Yes. I see. Yeah, I
Yeah.
see.
I mean, it's not that I want. These are fine lines, right? Like you can be considered a people pleaser, right? But I think for me, my credo, right? Like I want to be nice,
Yeah.
right? No matter what I do, I want to be nice, right? I think that's just the way I've lived my life.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
That said, I do get I have this deep sense of like whatever I do, I must do it well, and I must do it right,
Yes.
right? Because I think even early in my career, right, like I was always in environments that promoted, doing the right thing.
Well,
Doing
you're
the right
always
thing,
the
especially for
underdog in your life. You know what I mean? Wherever you go, in your head, and like if you just do whatever right, the outcome should be always positive. Right? My mom always, Bobby, just do it right. Like, don't do bad. That was her phrase. It wasn't do it right. She just don't do bad.
don't do bad.
Right, which and a lot of things are bad. Everything I do is bad, and I need to do. You know what I mean?
That was a little bit of, I think that's a little bit of trouble too. And once again, right, like see, I've had good friends in my life, right? Like one of my other good friends, we were just out of college, we were looking for work. He gave me this viewpoint that, Lakshmi, there's no good or bad, right?
Oh, of course.
Nothing is good so long as you don't willfully hurt. Nothing is bad so long as you don't willfully hurt another, right? So, and I held on to that, right? Like, so I think, I've had good people like giving me all these golden nuggets
Yes,
from
yes,
time to
yes,
time, and I've like sort of embodied them, so to speak.
No,
Right? Like,
I get it. Like, as you make some naughty mistakes in your childhood, and as you get older, you're like, I don't make that mistake, so I should just produce good karma. Just do whatever I can, just whatever, just stop. Don't get arrested again, Bob. Just don't do that. You should be good.
seriously, you got arrested?
Oh yeah, but that's
Wow.
life.
No, it's interesting that you say that, right? Because for
No
me,
bad crimes. Okay.
No.
because-
I get it.
All dumb
Sorry,
shit. No.
I'll let you speak in a second.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't mean to hog this, but
No, hog it.
what it's an important mindset change, right? For like, first of all, growing up, right?
Yeah.
Like, or even now, right? Like for me, the thought of getting arrested, right, is scary. It's really scary,
It is scary.
right? Like it's extremely scary for me, right?
And it's shameful.
Well, I'm not worried so much about the shameful part, right? But it's really scary. I think it can be a really harrowing experience,
Oh yeah.
right? So to that point, I would absolutely not put myself at any risk, right? But like you're young, right?
And you're drunk.
like I've seen some of my son's friends and all, right? Like over a
Yes,
period
yes.
of time, my son hangs out with his friends.
Yeah.
To your point, young people make naughty mistakes, right? And sometimes like get in trouble.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
But what I've always maintained, right, is that, hey, you know what? It's okay. right? Like, yeah, we all make mistakes.
It depends on the crime. You know, I mean, I've never got arrested for like fucking pedophilia. I've never got arrested for like sexual assault. It's just been like public drunkenness, a public urination. You know what I mean?
No, and the mindset shift that I'm talking about is that the younger generations, right? Like, you guys are not afraid of making some mistakes.
Oh yeah, they
Right,
tell
like,
us do it young.
I did not grow up in a time and environment like that.
Yeah, because you grew up in India where they're responsible.
Yeah.
Here, they tell those kids, you know, you're gonna fuck up. We know. We've foreshadowed this data. So just do it when you're young and let the 5 years so you can get it expunged, and then you can move on.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, no, that's what I'm
That's
saying.
the
It's
propaganda.
definitely a mindset shift. So I found it very interesting when he said that. Like, you said it without feeling uncomfortable, right?
Yeah, because
My generation, like, if I got arrested, I would have found it really hard to say that right now.
Well, for what it is my mom knows, right? When the first time it happened, it was actually for marijuana, and me and my boy Jackson, we just closed up the Dairy Queen and we're just smoking this little weed out of this fucking 2-liter plastic bottle. Lakshmi, let me tell you something. It's not even what we were doing was so childish in what it was even fucking looking like, you know? It wasn't like a good setup. And you know, they arrested us, but like Jackson's sister picked us up, and like I thought my parents were never gonna find out, you know. And then they got the mail at the house, and then I came back from Dairy Queen another day from like closing shop, and then they're sitting there like, oh, what happened on this day?
I really like the impression you do of your mother. It's very. It's like I can almost picture your mother when you're doing that.
I heard Russell Peters or someone once said like if you're gonna do the Indian accent, it has to be on like upbeats, right? It can't be like I am like stinky man, you know. Then it's like, all right, who is this for, you know? But
Yeah. No, I and that's a great point actually, right? Like, I've seen comics do the Indian accent really well.
Yeah.
And I've seen comics do the Indian accent not so well.
Yeah, what do you think about it? Because you know, like I've fought with comics over this. I think accents are so funny. I'm like, come on, hombre. Like if I can do a Russian, Mexican, Asian, and an Indian in one act in like 4 minutes, it would kill. But I gotta work on the skill, you know.
Yeah.
So what do you think about it as someone who grew up in India? Do you find it offensive?
No, I don't.
Oh, okay.
I'm 3 years into comedy. I
Yeah.
don't find anything offensive.
Because you know who does find it offensive? Kids who are born here that have immigrant parents. And I'm like, why do you find it offensive if your parents kind of talk like that? And I know your ba definitely does. So
That's a good point. So I have 2 thoughts to offer here, right? I think number one, first of all, accents. If you have the skill of doing multiple accents and you're a comedian, it's a great skill set to have.
Yeah.
Right? What I think you need to be mindful of is the material.
Of course.
Right?
Yes.
So long as you're not like just going after someone or like, you know, like don't get under anybody's skin.
Of course.
Right? That's
we
that's
only do the accents for parents against us. Really, that's what in my act, you know.
See, it's like if you are doing the Indian accent, right? Like if we're doing the Indian accent, like I think it's perfectly fine. Right? Like,
thank you.
Because that's the second point that I was coming to, right? Like, I feel I have the right to make fun of only who I am, right? I only have the right to make fun of who I am. I should not be making fun of other cultures or other races to that effect. But then if I had the skill, right? Like if I had the skill to speak, to like produce a Russian accent or like a Mexican accent or whatever it is, right? I would use it in my comedy.
Yeah.
I would make sure that the jokes themselves are not offensive, right? Like, but I would absolutely use. I think it's a great skill set.
Yeah, it's storytelling 101.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. I'm like, what the hell? Like my mom doesn't sound like this. And if she did sound like this, you'd be like, where the hell did she come from? You know, because it was in Gujarat, India.
Totally, absolutely right. And I mean, honestly, I think in fact, my accent being like this, I think is a unique,
Yeah.
provides me like a unique position in comedy in America.
Yeah, because it's
Right.
not too heavy. And honestly, my parents' accents aren't that heavy because we had the Dairy Queen for so long and they were talking to so many people every day. But I just make it a little heavier so you know it's an accent.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. You're providing emphasis here, like, exaggerating for dramatic effect.
Exactly. Dramatic effect. So, no, I get that. Yeah, yours is like, you know you're foreign, but you know, like, this guy probably worked in IT or something like that. You know, like
Yeah.
he's a talker or something.
Exactly right. Exactly right. I mean, and I think that's what it is, right? To your point, I mean, you asked the question about like, did you enjoy being a rep?
Yeah.
This is what it did. Like when I called, right? I used to like 1998 or like 1999 when I made my first call. I would have sounded like, "Hello, can I speak to Mr. Scene?" Like, and I used to say S. I used to pronounce Sean as Scene. Right? Like SEAN. Like I had pronounced it like I had seen it.
Yes, yeah,
Right?
yeah. I
Um,
get, yeah.
But that's how I sounded, right? And then it was just working with American clients and then moving to America and being here. Yeah, I think I lost a little bit of that rawness, or like like being really really hard Indian.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, you have.
I
you
still have
to.
it. I still have it enough that it's
Yeah.
unique.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I can be clear enough in my communication. So
No, you got best of both worlds. I think. Yeah.
I think so too.
Yeah. So when did you move here? Actually,
2007.
and give me how old are you?
I was 34
Okay.
when I moved here.
Nice.
So,
So what was the?
I've lived 1/3 of my life in America.
Yeah. So why did you make the move here? What was the
My company offered me a position.
Oh,
And
nice.
the company that I was working for in India offered me a position in the US.
Mm-hmm.
And I took
So where's the first place you moved?
Mount Laurel, New Jersey.
Oh, okay.
And
So
I've lived in Mount Laurel, New Jersey for the last 17 years.
nice. So
Yeah.
you just you found this place.
Well,
and
I
you're
don't
like,
know.
"Let's
I think
chillin'."
there's something, right? Like, and that's, I believe in that very much, right? Like where you are in your life right now. And when I say where I am, the location,
Yeah.
right? Like I think there is a significance to where you are. Like I could be somewhere else.
Why
right
did you
now.
pick your location?
I did not pick that. That's what I'm trying to say, right? Like
Oh.
we had a client. My company had a client in Mount Laurel, New Jersey,
Uh-huh.
and that client asked for me to come here and work in their location. So that's why I came to Mount Laurel, New Jersey. In fact, my company was headquartered in Rochester, New York.
Okay.
Right? Like, so if my company had given me that transfer in a different manner, I would have ended up in Rochester, New York.
I feel that.
Right? And even still, I could have, then I would, like, sometime down the line, I took a job which took me to Texas for a year. For a year I was in San Antonio.
Okay. How'd you
But I
like it down
came-
there?
Oh, it was fantastic.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah, San Antonio is a beautiful town. And it's close to Austin. It's like Mount Laurel and New York,
Okay.
right? Like San Antonio and Austin are like just
Ve-
about the same time. Austin is north of San Antonio, like New York is north of Mount Laurel. Like it was almost like the same experience. And Austin is super cool. Austin is like just uber cool.
Yeah, I've never really left Pennsylvania, to be honest.
Really?
Soon, baby, my time is coming.
That is so interesting. You've never left Pennsylvania?
No, like I've been to like New Jersey, New York, you know what I mean? But I never really like
I mean, you didn't. You're saying like you didn't. You haven't gone out like as part of work or like part of your career.
Nah,
Yeah. Okay.
yeah.
You've traveled.
No, not really.
Really?
I mean, I've been to like Vermont to snowboard, but like like I never. Like, I want to go to Hawaii. I feel like that's like traveling.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's fair.
Yeah,
that's fair.
You know what I mean, or like something international.
Oh yeah. Definitely.
Yeah. I've never been
Definitely.
across the pond.
I would recommend that to every young person.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. Just backpack and like go somewhere. Go somewhere and go alone.
Do you like backpacking? My sister does that.
I would like. Yeah. I would love it.
Yeah.
I would love to do it. I've never had the chance to, but yeah, I would love it
Do
actually.
you care about hygiene?
Well, I
That's
do.
my thing.
I do. I think. But I think I've also figured out a way to pack enough in a backpack
Okay.
that can get me around for like a week or two.
Yeah, you're an immigrant, dude. Of course you know how to pack a backpack.
I think that's a fair observation.
Thank you.
Yeah. No, I'm saying just I think I like this thought of just traveling alone and like going someplace where I've never been before and being able to uh, just be with myself, be lost in wherever I am. Like I would love to go to the Grand Canyon. That's of course something that I want to go with my son. But yeah, I would love to go to Europe, right? Like and just explore by myself. Right. Like, but yeah. So I think the term backpacking is used it in
a light sense.
In a light sense. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I mean,
I'd go backpacking in hotels. That's what I'm saying.
no, yeah. Well, don't get me wrong. I'm absolutely not doing camping.
Yeah, of course.
Right. Like I'm not. When I said backpacking, I'm not like no. I'm going to like stay in I'm going to plan my trip as much as I can.
Yeah.
And stay in. Yeah. I'm definitely. I think I've gotten old and tired that like I don't think I have that much energy to like be that willing to just rough it out there.
Yeah.
At the same time, just traveling, right? Like and being able to enjoy that experience.
Yeah.
And take it all in. Yeah, absolutely. I think I would.
You know what? I love what you just said. You said old and tired, and sometimes, Lakshmi, I feel old and tired, and I tell my parents that. I say, "Hey guys, I'm getting tired." I don't actually say old. I just say I'm tired. You know what I mean?
No, I think.
And they're like, "You can't be tired. We're twice your age."
No, I think both are fair perspectives, right? Like I think it's not wrong to be tired when you're 30, right? Because I think the world has changed a lot, right? Like especially this. I don't know. I feel the world is a different place after COVID.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Actually, no. I don't really think about it really anymore. It's like, when did COVID happen? 2020.
Yeah.
I really
you're right.
don't.
I don't know. Maybe that's the old part, right? Like the tired we all feel, right? Because it's a little more physical. But I think that's the old part, right? Like I think at some point I think the world has changed for me.
Was COVID really hard for you? Was a tough time for you? Because I know it was tough for some people and it was really light for me.
COVID wasn't hard as in like yes, definitely some family members fell sick and like it especially in India and all that, right? So yeah, from that perspective COVID was hard.
Sure.
But COVID was not hard on me. Like I didn't go through anything myself. Like I didn't get COVID until the end of like 2021.
Yeah.
Right? Like 2021 Christmas holidays, I got COVID. Like I was at home eating rice and rasam and I was like fine. Right? So yeah. It didn't really impact me like that, but it's thought process, right? Like for me, it was, wow, something like this can happen, right? Like that the entire world can shut down, and then people losing jobs, people having to shut down their businesses.
Oh, I see.
Right? So many people dying, right? I think it just, I don't know. It sent me into a very I don't know what's the right word to use here, but like very a place of deep thought.
Yeah, no, I know exactly what you're saying. And wait, let me ask you this before I tell you what I'm saying. Did you meditate back in India? Did you grow up meditating or like looking up to a guru?
Meditating was just part of my life. I think like it's just like
part of your
it's
school,
a
actually,
habit
right?
that I built.
Yeah, is it in the education system when you were a child?
It was in my school.
Okay,
right. Like I don't think it was like a part of the education system across the board.
Yeah.
It was at my school. The school that I went to had like a meditation thing, right? Like every so often we would do that.
Right.
But I mean, at that time it was all like stupid, right? Like I used to close my eyes and think about girls.
Yeah.
Right. So.
Well, what do you meditate? How do you meditate now though?
I think meditation has become a habit over time. Right. Like I just sit down quietly. I sit like wherever, like sit on my couch or sit on the floor or wherever. I just fold my legs, I close my eyes.
Yeah.
And
Okay, so this is the
It's-
thing, right? It's like kind of
It's
You-
almost like a stream of self-consciousness.
yes. So it's like I mean I sometimes here and there meditate, but it's like but it's it's challenging. It's not like something you just do easily, right? It's like it takes thought and shit. Like you gotta sit down and really clear your brain. And it's like I gotta edit or something. But okay, so you think about all these people because I think you meditate, and I think it's also because we're like Indian, and so like you feel other people's pain for some reason, you know what I mean? And then, but the thing is, Lakshmi, if you do this, you'll eventually feel pain for everybody, and you'll be like, what the, like why? And then you'll feel so down, and so eventually you're like, all right, you know, because I feel the same way, like. You know, you see all this, like even right now, all the war and everything, and you see all this shit on Twitter, and you're like, what? You're like, this is overwhelming.
Oh,
You know?
yeah.
First
Oh,
thing,
yeah.
I wake up in the morning and I see a baby with his head off. I'm like, Jesus. Now how like, I gotta go fucking shower.
Yeah.
It's tough, you know. It's
Oh yeah, and that's what I'm saying, right? Like, see, let's come back to the customer support
Yeah, yeah.
industry, right? Like that I worked in corporate America, customer support industry. Traveling was part of my job. I went to a lot of places. I've once again, thanks to that industry, I've visited a lot of other countries.
Yeah.
Right? It just everything was positive. Right, like everything there was something to look forward to, right?
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I mean, I would have like extremely stressful days at work,
Yeah.
right? But come the weekend was always good,
Yeah.
and then even on a Monday morning, I always felt refreshed enough that to take on a new week,
Yes.
right?
yes,
Because there was always something, right? Like there was travel, there was like meeting new people,
Of course.
working with new clients, whatnot, right? Solving new challenges at work, right?
Yeah.
I don't know, for me, right? Like it's just one completely personal experience,
Uh-huh.
right? Like it's COVID, what happened post-COVID changed something. I don't see the world the same way that I used to before COVID.
Interesting.
It's
Well, I
just-
think the
it's
world
just-
is different for sure. You know what I mean? Some people are act different. Now some people are like, some people's political sides really came out during COVID.
Mhm.
Now you can't look at them the same way. You know what I mean? You know, like, are you vaccinated?
I am.
Oh, okay, well, you know, like I am also vaccinated, but I didn't want to get vaccinated. Those damn liberals, they got me. But you know, it's like even over that, like real talk, like I did get COVID, like a year or 2 years later after, you know, like just like you, but I got the first vax, got fucking sick. Then I got COVID, got real sick. Then I got the second vax, got real sick. But real talk, I'm healthy as hell. You know what I mean? Sure, I have a beer. Mom, this is a sober beer, actually. She's like, why you always got, like, and you're drinking water, so I'm going to get in trouble on this one. But, like, you know, it's like, I was healthy, so why do I have to get the vaccine? But society pressured me. And really, the Philadelphia comedy scene at some pinpoints within its community was like, you need the vaccine to do comedy. And I was like, all right.
Yeah. It never bothered me because one, I don't know. I somehow knew that I'm not going to fall sick from the vaccine. So I actually took the vaccine. I was in India when I took the vaccine.
Oh.
So I took the vaccine. I was traveling for work. I took the vaccine. My parents got it. I got it with them. So, and then I got both the vaccines there actually.
It's not the problem with the vaccine for the Bhav. It's the problem that you're telling me to get the vaccine.
Yeah, I hear you.
You know what I mean?
I hear you.
You know, I'm like, hey.
The
me
vaccine should have also been by choice.
Yeah, I'm pro-choice over here. Come on, that was good. Come on.
No, it is. Oh, absolutely. I mean, yes, the joke was good. No
Thank
question.
you.
I'm just saying, I think it's that this is what I'm saying, right? Like it's COVID introduced so many facets of there's so many things to think about,
Yeah.
right? That we didn't have to,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like as humans, right? Like life was fine,
Yeah.
right? Like life was fine. And see, yeah, I know history in history there have been pandemics before, and right, like all of this. But I don't know. I feel like for the level of scientific advancement that we have achieved, right, and there are so many smart people out there, right? Like I think solving so many problems, right? Like cancer is curable these days, right?
Well,
I feel like we could have done better. We could have.
well,
Right,
Lakshmi, then let's. Are you into conspiracy theories at all?
Well,
Let's like
I have my point of view, but
yeah, but
I'm-
check this out. Like, look, I spent all of COVID partying. I'm gonna admit that. I'm good times. But with the same select people in my apartment, okay, we are safe with each other, and half of us were dating each other. So it's not, what I mean, you're gonna tell me I can't make love. I'm not gonna be one of those people making love with my woman with a mask on. That's weird. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
I understand.
So, but yeah. But like, don't you think there was something bigger at play here than just COVID? Just
I'm sure there is, right, and that's part of it, right? Like that.
like, what do you think it was?
I don't understand.
Yeah.
Right, like I don't understand, and at some level, it doesn't bother me, right? Like you made a beautiful point a little while ago, Bhav, right?
Thank you.
You said you meditate, then you think of, right, like I don't know, maybe what's stressing you, and then what's like you think of something beyond that, right? Like
Yeah.
there's pain not just for you, but there's pain for the world at large,
Yeah.
and it makes you feel sad,
Yeah,
or like
yeah.
it makes you thoughtful, right? And see, COVID was one such experience,
Yeah.
right? Like you talked about, like you said, there's something larger. There's something. It's not the pandemic. It's not the health concern, right? Like there was something larger, right?
Yeah.
Yes, there was something larger for sure. I don't understand it. I don't like. That's what makes me sad,
Yes.
right? That there was an agenda.
Mhm.
There is something, right? I don't know. Maybe it's all for the good, right? Like maybe it was necessary, right? But just I don't know. I have had a very simple approach to life, maybe, right? Like it's maybe maybe I have lived to your point, right? Maybe I've lived all my life in a very protected, very safe environment.
Did I say that?
You said but that you were
I-
like all
I- yeah, I
very
was.
protected as a child,
Yes,
and then you
yes,
went
yes.
to Penn State,
Yeah,
and,
exactly.
right? Like you
exactly.
found
It was
out
on me. Yeah.
little. So in a similar fashion, right? Like it's
Yeah.
like I grew up in a very protected
Yeah.
environment, right? Like in a very like yeah.
Like professional
like, see,
setting,
I've
just
never
like
done-
yeah.
I've never done drugs in my life,
Right. Okay. Hell
right?
yeah,
Like I've not
yeah.
even like I've smoked once or twice, but like it's just I was in college, and like I was out with my friends, and I never drank alcohol till I was like 35,
Right.
right? Like so I grew I grew up like this
Well,
very
that's like real.
hopeful kid,
Yeah.
right? Like I was playing cricket all the time,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like and yeah, I enjoyed school and I enjoyed college.
Yeah.
It without any of this, right? And for me, it's life in a sense has been like sunshine and rainbows for me,
Yeah.
right? So I think that's why COVID hit me hard, like really hard.
Mhm.
That to your point, right? Like first of all, like all these people are dying, like people are losing businesses, like what's going on? And to your point, hey, it's not just this. There's something bigger
Yeah.
going on, right? Like there's hopefully it was needed.
Uh-huh.
That's a school of thought, right? Like
Yeah.
that sometimes something like things like this just need to happen. It's just part of the natural cycle of
Yeah.
humanity, right? I hopefully I will get to see it in my life that
Yeah.
hey, whatever happened was for the good, and here's why, and generations to come will benefit. That would be great. That would
Yeah.
be like super. That would give me a lot of peace.
Yeah. And no, I agree. You'll see, this is what the thing is. It's like I feel like I was like you. Like up until I went to college, I was like sober, right?
Mhm.
I did try like smoking weed one time with my friends, but I was like, oh, it burns. And then when I went there and everyone is peer pressuring you, then you just find yourself in this dark spiral, and then you become addicted. And then to quit is very challenging, right? Because it's not even to get off the sauce. It's actually your whole reputation. Everyone is upset with you. You know, you show up anywhere. Bhav, shots? Nah, dog, I'm sober now. You know, it's so upsetting. And then, you know, you try it, and then eventually, like, oh man, my whole life is good. Why am I sober? No, I have a show. You know what I mean? So, but it's like, I agree. Like, living a life of sobriety will definitely, the world's impacts will definitely weigh heavier on you. Like, I can just, like, oh, see, this goddamn gnat has been living in my apartment for like a week, and I can't kill it. He's so fast. But I feel like, yeah, like, you're sober. My mom has basically been sober her whole life. She's drank in front of my eyes, or just like in storytelling. I don't know if I was there. 1/2 glass of wine, right? So anything she feels, I feel like is heavier than what. Like, COVID didn't weigh heavy on me because I was getting like lit up every weekend, right? I was like I'm just passing through it. I'm not feeling it. Where you're out here feeling this whole thing, you know, I'm just tiptoeing. Yeah. But that's what I'm trying to, like, that's why I think it laid so heavy on you versus me, you know?
I think that's a very fair perspective,
Yeah.
right? Like, I mean, we're all made differently, right?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
And we're
But I think as Indian people, we're all very, like, loving, you know what I mean? We're, like, nice, you know? Like, there are some mean Indian people, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
And sometimes I can be mean, too. But, like, you're trying to be, like, professional. You're trying to, like, because you're trying to, like, make your parents happy, right? And the only way to fucking do that is, like, get a good job and make money. And the only way to do that is, like, be, like, a kiss ass at work a little bit. And, like, you know, just be good. Just be fucking doing your job. Don't get in trouble. You know, so I get it. And eventually, life happens.
yeah,
You know?
for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
So, you know, there has to be something that happened in your life that brought you to fucking comedy. Because, you know, Lakshmi, you came here from India. You're playing cricket, which I love. Yo, how did we do against America? Did we win in cricket?
Yeah, India won again.
Yeah, let's go, baby. Yeah, fuck these. They don't even know, dude. They don't even know what we're doing, dude.
But America is like 80% India.
It's
I
okay.
think the US team is like 80% India.
It's okay. I need the motherland to win. You know,
That's funny.
Yeah, I don't need the whitewashed me to win.
That's funny.
I need you to win.
That's funny. That's funny. That's funny.
Yeah, so you're living this great life playing cricket, and you know, like you come over to America, you're crushing it in customer service. Something happens in life to make people want to do comedy. So what has brought you to us on this couch in reality?
Oh, absolutely. Right.
Yeah. I like to ask all comedians this because that's why only like really how we came across each other, right?
So this next part of the program is going to sound like an Indian movie script.
Yes, hit me with it. Yeah, my mom loves Bollywood. I love Bollywood.
Yeah.
Hit me with it.
See, I did a lot of stage work when I was in school and college.
Okay.
Right, like I used to write plays, and then sketch comedy, right?
Okay.
So I used to do a lot of that when I was in school and college.
You
So
know
it's just
Johnny
like,
Liver?
Yeah.
Apparently that was my favorite comedic actor when I was a child.
Oh, that's awesome. Hey,
He was good.
really good guy.
Yeah. I had no idea what he was saying because I don't know Hindi.
Yeah.
I only know Gujarati, but I was like, he hit himself. You know?
Yeah. Whatever,
Yeah.
right? Like, physical comedy,
Comedy,
right?
yeah,
Like,
yeah, okay.
absolutely. Yeah, I think it's a funny
So
guy.
you've been around the concept.
I was very much in the concept.
Yeah, in the
Right.
That's what I mean.
And I was very inspired by, like, growing up in Chennai,
Yeah.
right? Like, in Chennai, theater was very strong,
Okay.
right? Like, drama.
Yeah,
Right,
sure.
the theater was very
I get it.
strong.
I did a play once in college.
Yeah. So concept, plays were like they were part of mainstream entertainment,
Yeah.
right? Like, there was films and there was theater,
Mm-hmm.
right? And a lot of theater was still in the 1980s, like, serious and whatnot, but some of it was just focused on funny,
Yes.
like, completely funny. and very in tune with the times, very representative of what society in India was at that time.
Yes, yeah.
Right,
And what
like
was
that.
it like? Tell me, because I was born here.
Yeah, plain, simple, hardworking.
Okay.
Right, everything that you just said a little
Sure,
while
yeah.
ago. Right, like just be good, and life will take care of itself. Right, like work hard, like, and those aspects were brought out. Right, also, like the fairy tale concept, right? Like you fall in love, you find one woman, you fall in love, and
Yeah.
you love her for the rest of life,
Oh,
right?
romance is so key in Indian culture.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
right? Like,
everyone's a
and
lover
that
boy
was
and
that
girl.
was there everywhere, right? Like it was there in films, it was there in theater. I enjoyed the theater. I enjoyed the funny theater a lot.
Yeah.
Right? Like I was really inspired by it, and that's probably what led me to write sketch comedy and plays in when I was in school and college, right? So that was then, and then like yeah, life went on. Like I finished college, I went to work. I'm an engineer too, by the way. Yeah. And then I went to work.
Oh, what kind actually? Let me
Electronics.
ask. Electronics.
I like don't even go like don't ask me what a transistor is.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely not.
Okay,
Like
hell
no,
yeah, hell yeah.
Mhm.
No, respect. You know what I mean? I love that. All engineers are welcome here, baby.
Well, no, it's like I had great fun at engineering college.
Yeah.
Like I built some of like lifelong friends.
Yeah.
That said, I was either on the cricket field or I was like at another college
Yeah.
performing on the stage.
You're kind of like me in the sense like did you do engineering for your parents? Really make them
No,
proud?
I wouldn't say so.
Oh, okay.
I think it was a tune of the times,
Oh, okay. Hell
right?
yeah.
Like, so in India we used to call this a professional degree, right? Like, it's like just being an arts and science graduate wasn't enough,
Of
right?
course.
The jobs were for doctors, engineers, and
Lawyers.
chartered accountants,
Okay.
lawyers,
Yeah,
right? Like,
yeah.
those were the professional.
Pharmacist.
Yeah, exactly. Those were professional streams of education.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
yeah.
Like, so you had to pick one of those.
STEM
Right. Like, I mean,
at the large. It's like what is STEM? Science, technology, engineering, and medicine.
yeah, exactly. So that was what was most lucrative.
Yeah,
at
I love
point,
that.
Right. So I chose to go to engineering college out of my will. I don't think I didn't work hard enough to get a
Engineering job.
engineering seat, like a space in an engineering college. Like my dad had to pay a fee for it, right? But yeah, it was part of the system. Like there was self-financed colleges, right? Like which offered a part of their like admission process was like, yeah, you meet some basic criteria, but then you pay some money, and then
Yes,
right,
yes,
like
yes.
my granddad had left me something, and my dad utilized that to get me
Yes,
into
yes,
engineering
yes.
college. I think I did well, right? Like I wasn't an A+.
That's just how the system works there.
Yeah,
Yes,
exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. But anyway, I think instead of digressing, right? Like, so that was then, and then I had left it. Like I'd got into corporate life, customer support. Like, got married, had a kid, came to the US. Really, I've always enjoyed entertainment, right? Like, so, and I have this tendency. I watch funny stuff all the time,
Yeah.
right? Like whether I want to watch movies, whether I want to watch stand up, right? Like, or TV shows. I just prefer watching the funny stuff,
Yeah.
right? Like it's just been that way for me forever, right? Like hey, I've had a long week. I'd rather just watch something that I can just laugh my head off to. And
Yeah,
then
of
go to
course,
sleep,
of
right?
course, of course.
That was me. Yeah, it's not that I did not. Horror is a no-no.
Same. Why? What ruined horror for you?
Horror, I think I was just like, I'm just afraid. Like even
Yeah.
now, like I'm lights out and I'm afraid. I don't know. Sometimes I wake up in the middle of the night, like having gone through a nightmare. Like
I completely understand. And since you're sober, you actually dream much scarier than someone like me. Maybe if I go sober for like 2-3 days, I'll have a bad dream. But if I go to like the sleep, like drunk or something, no dreams. That's like how the brain
Well,
works.
that's yeah. Maybe I should follow it.
No. What I'm saying is like I get that.
No,
Like,
I
yeah.
understand.
So
Like, no, thank you. I
yeah,
appreciate that.
My dad would like tell if I didn't go to sleep, he would tell me, he'd be like, "Do you want me to tell you a scary ghost story?" So it was like a fucking fear monger tool they use. Horror, you know what I mean?
Wow.
So I could never. I don't watch scary movies. Going to that's a fish.
Wow.
Going to haunted houses is a really challenging thing for me. So I get
absolutely.
that.
Oh no, absolutely. I wouldn't do it at all. Like, no, not for me. Not for me. None of the horror horror was like out of question.
Yeah.
Drama I would watch. Right?
Yeah.
Like, action and drama I would watch. Like
Marvel.
of course. Like,
That's
in
fine.
general, I think I'm I'm deeply interested in in films as a medium. So right, like I would watch, but if I had a choice, funny right?
is the one. Yeah, I got you.
And I've been watching it in the last I think 4 or 5 years ago, right? My son and I got to watch Hassan Minhaj's first special. What was that? Homecoming King.
Oh, nice.
Right? I enjoyed it very much. For two reasons. One is it was a story, right? And the entire show was a story, right? Like it is about how he grew up in America as an immigrant, as a child of immigrant parents, right? He has a crush on this girl, and then right, like whatnot. But the whole thing was a story, and so it was not bits,
Yeah.
right? Like it was beautiful storytelling in the grammar of stand-up comedy.
Of course. Yeah.
It was fantastic. It really stood out for me, right? Among all the stand-up comedy I had been watching,
Yeah.
right? Like it really stood out for me, and I connected with it, right? And in a sense, I also had this sort of feeling that a lot of the stand-up comedy out there, there was a lot of unnecessary, like just bad language, and
Yeah.
I was very inspired by Hassan Minhaj. At the same time, I was also disappointed that comedy has a lot of sexual content and like a lot of swearing, right?
Yes.
That was a disappointing aspect for me, and I was working at Comcast at that time in Center City. One of a friend and I were like just talking over lunch about this, and I was expressing my disappointment about comedy, that a lot of stand-up comedies like that. And then there was an employee event coming up, right? And he said, "Hey, we have this unique space that we're going to do right at the top of the meeting. We're going to have some of our team members introduce themselves in a way that tell us something that we don't know about you, right? Like, why don't you introduce yourself this way? Why don't you do a little stand-up bit?"
Yeah.
And I said, "Yeah, I'd be glad to try it." So I told a 10-minute story of an incident that really happened in my life.
Love that.
Which, when it happened, it was like it just like I was shit scared.
Yeah.
Right, I was shit scared. But then looking back at it, it's the funniest day of my life.
Yeah.
Right, like it's just a comedy of errors, right, all day long.
Yeah.
Right, so it's my favorite party story, right? Like, and every time I've told it at like a group of friends, or like with family, everybody's been like rolling on the floor laughing.
Okay.
Right. So I said that story. I obviously like embellished it. Like I tried to give it some of the stand-up comedy grammar, and it like people loved it. So people think about it. Like I'm in this really, I don't know. Like I wouldn't call it like I'm in this like very important job at Comcast, right?
Yeah.
Like it's like a business unit meeting, but like there's this opportunity to tell something that your teammates don't know about you.
Yeah.
And I did this, and they loved it. And one of my colleagues, she said, and I have to be thankful to her. I think she's the reason I'm in stand-up comedy.
Hell yeah.
She said, Lakshmi, there's a comedy club called Helium Comedy Club in Philadelphia. They do open mics all the time. Like, you should just look them up and,
Hell yeah.
like, try to register. I went on the site immediately. I like applied a couple of times, but like never got picked.
Obviously.
Right?
Obviously.
And then a transition happened in my life. I went to San Antonio for that job. So I left Comcast. I went to the next job in San Antonio. So I just forgot about all of this. And that job, and then COVID happened, right?
Yeah.
I'd come back to New Jersey by that point. COVID happened. I used to get emails from Helium all the time, right?
Yeah.
Like, because I'd signed up like a couple of times, like I registered on their website, right?
They got you.
2021, end of 2021, I got an email saying Chip Chantry was doing a one-on-one comedy class. I signed up. I did the class, loved it. And then I had to go to India in 2021 for about 6 months for work. Once again, just forgot about it. Went to India. When I came back, another email, we're doing an improv class. This time it's in person, right? Like the first one was over Zoom because that was COVID.
They robbed you.
So I
Just
went.
kidding.
No,
I'm just
Oh,
kidding. I'm
it's
just kidding. I'm
perfect.
just making.
Yeah.
I love Chip Chantry. I took the class too,
don't say anything bad about Helium right now. Like,
No, I won't. Dude.
Funniest is coming up.
Okay, no, you're gonna get in there, baby. You made it pretty far last year, right?
No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I was kidding. No, I just love that stage. I think
Yeah, it's a good one. I'm trying to get there too,
I would.
baby.
Yeah, I'd happily pay to perform there, right? So yeah, that happened. I attended the second class, and one of my classmates took me to my first open mic. That's it.
Yeah.
Right. So that's my.
And then it's history. Yeah. So you
That's
actually have a comedy.
That's my Bollywood film to be continued.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
hopefully there's like a part 2 to this.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Like where I can talk a little bit more about how I bombed, how I've.
Nah, dude, you're crushing it. You know, you're like every show I see you doing, you're doing well.
Everybody's kind to me.
Nah, but you have bars. You know what I mean? I don't know how to write a punchline. See, you're a writer. You've been writing shit your whole life. I am not a writer. I'm just a character and I've just done stupid shit. So I took a comedy
See, that's
class.
a skill I would kill to have.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, we both. I think who told me? Rob Stan or someone. They said like, that's the life of us. Either you're a good performer or you're a good writer, and you have to learn the other fucking skill.
Yeah.
And when you learn both, you're great.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Learning every day. Every day, right? And that's something. One of our comics friends talked to me about this, right? Like, I feel there is something to learn from every comic that we watch.
Of course.
Right? So I enjoy that process, right? Like, because just out of nowhere, like I was at Funniest last week, supporting someone. In the whole show, right? Like, somebody, like, and I don't know this person, right? Like, they've not like been in the open mic scene.
Yeah.
Their set wasn't like phenomenal or anything, but they had this one joke, right? Like, which was just completely left field, right? Like, it was so simple in its construction, so easy, got a big laugh, right? Like, you could hear the 200 people in the room like, whoa, ha ha ha, right? So great, right? Like, that's inspiring. Like, that's inspiring. And like, I have, I'm really thankful to one of my first bosses in life. Right? Like, right after engineering, I went to work in advertising for a little bit.
Yeah.
Right. My very first boss in advertising, he said, Lakshmi, writing it's nothing big about writing. You read things, right? Like, you read what other people have written, a particular style of writing, or some things that you read will really connect with you.
Yeah.
And then you want to write like that. That's it. Right? And I think that's a solid piece of advice, not just for writing, not just for writing, for life.
Yeah.
Right? You want to emulate certain people because you feel that that's how you want to lead your life.
Yeah.
Or like, that's who I want to be.
You know, speaking on like, this is exactly, let me take it one step further, right? So no one is perfect, right?
No,
So to be a tank, to be the killer you want to be, you actually look at everyone you respect, right? And you respect them for one quality they probably have. So just try to emulate that one quality in that person.
Oh yeah.
And then at the end, like my boss, right? Every day he wakes up and goes to the gym at 5 a.m. If I can just get that 5 a.m. workout and it's instead of like a 5 p.m., 6 p.m. workout, right? Like, oh, dude, Lakshmi, you don't know. My life would be so efficient.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
But it's tough, you know? It's very
No,
tough.
I hear you.
I need to fix my meal plan in order for me to hit the gym in the morning. Because if you hit the gym hard, you need to have a good breakfast. And right now, I'm just eating a shit breakfast, like a banana, a coffee, and some oatmeal. It doesn't suffice a workout. You know, you need some eggs, fucking some fruit, you know, something hearty. So I get that, dude. Like when you just have to emulate the right parts of people. You know, you don't want to emulate your dad's tobacco addiction. You know, that's gonna get you in trouble.
That's what I'm saying, right? Like, so you always tend to emulate
Positive.
because that's who you want to be, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
you always emulate who you want to be, right? Like, yeah, I want to be like Warren Buffett, so I'm going to learn investing, or like,
Yeah.
you know, I'm going to learn how to be on Wall Street, right? That's how you think about it, right? Like, or there's an uncle in your family who's like, that's who I want to be, because whatever, right? Like, you see the traits in life that a person has, and you feel connected, right? Like, I think it's a very personal connection, right? Like, so you see different comics, absolutely right, different comics. Rob Stant, I saw him do this set at an Irish pub, North Philly. One time he just did this effect of people talking from a distance, right? Like, and he, like how he moved the mic in and out, and he created that effect of I'm here, my family's there, my family's saying something to me, right? Like, it was fantastic, right?
Oh, I see. He would be like, I'm talking, and then he'd be like, oh.
Yeah,
They seem far.
yeah,
Oh, I love that.
yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
mic trick.
in just that one moment, in his entire set, just that one moment, it blew my mind away, right? Daryl Charles, when I was in that second class at E Helium, right? Like, he did an entire session on act outs, right? And he just did this, like, he was doing it, and like, you know, a group of us had performed. He was sort of like trying to give feedback and accentuating, like how he would have accentuated that act out.
Yes.
And he just did this little act of opening a trash can with his leg. It was so great, right? Like, I mean, think about it, right? Like, you don't have anything. You're just one person on that stage, right? Like there's nothing, right? Like, you're acting. It's a mime, right?
Yeah.
But you knew exactly that he was opening a trash can. I think about it. It's like one of the most difficult things to reproduce like that. I mean, yeah, you can like just take your foot on the air and like do that.
Yeah.
But for you to be able to tell that's exactly what he was doing, I thought it was brilliant.
Yeah.
It was just in that one moment, right? He did so many great things, but in that one moment, it blew my mind away, right?
Yeah, act outs I think are key. And the key is not to fucking cave in the middle of the act out also.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just saying, right? Like, you learn from every single comic, right? Like, yeah, there so many people do little things, right? That you feel like, wow, I wish I could do that. Like, or then it actually just pushes your mind in that direction, right? Like, to be able to write a joke a particular way, or like, you know, do a certain thing on stage that you've never done before, but it like sort of adds impact, like it punches up the whole situation, right? Yeah, I mean, I think it's been a phenomenal journey. I've like really enjoyed
No,
the last
I mean,
like 3
I
years.
get it. I see you out there having fun, you know what I mean? You know, sometimes more fun than me, and I get jealous. I'm like, goddamn, how can I be more like Lakshmi?
Well, no, that's very kind of you to say, first of all. And, no, it's just I'm really glad that life has given me the opportunity to do this.
Oh, yeah.
right?
I mean,
Like,
don't get me wrong. I feel like that all the time. Sometimes I'm like, hey, bro, you should be thankful. You know what I mean? Like, you can do your engineering job. You can do this, that shit, all that shit. You got a fish on the wall. You know, what are you complaining about? You know what I mean? But sometimes I'm tired. So that's
No, that's
yeah.
fine. Like, see, it's comedy is a form of expression,
Yeah.
right? Like, so I think it's a great thing to do, right?
Mhm.
Like, and I'm just glad that it fits in my life, right? Like, I
Yeah.
can still have a day job, like, make a decent living,
Of
right?
course.
And then have the time,
To do
right? Like,
comedy. Yeah.
to do this. Yeah.
It's something you said. It's a form of expression, right? And then remember earlier, I was like, "Oh, Lakshmi, you can't be mad or aggressive or something like that." So the thing is, if I do some type of angry comedy or dark comedy, angry shit, nobody likes it. You know what I mean? So sometimes, I feel like if I saw you maybe doing some angry comedy, I'd be God damn, Lakshmi, what's going on? You need a hug, you know?
Yeah, and I hear you.
Yeah.
I hear you. See, I think we're all a bag of emotions, right? Like,
Yeah, of course.
we all go through all the emotions in life, and I think it's a healthy thing to do, right? Like, anger, sadness, fear. We should go through all this,
Oh yeah.
right? Like, I'm
It builds
perfectly,
character.
yes, I'm willing to go through it,
Yeah.
right? Like, because otherwise I'm not a complete human being, right?
Of course.
That's the way I think about it. Maybe right or wrong, but I never want my comedy to come from a sad place.
I feel that. Yeah.
I want it to come from a happy place. I want my comedy to mean sunshine and rainbows. I want it to be simple. I want it to be like, yeah, let's talk about the most insignificant things.
Yeah.
in
Keep it
life,
fun
right?
and
Like,
flirty.
it could just be happy.
Yeah.
Let's be happy. Let's be happy, right? Like,
no, I get it.
we've all worked hard.
Yeah.
We've all had a long day, right?
Yeah.
Let's end it well,
Yeah.
right? Like, we're like at this 8 p.m., 9 p.m., sometimes midnight show or
Mhm.
open mic, right? Let's just end it well.
Yeah.
Let's all let this help us go to sleep and just like, be happy. Wake up happy tomorrow morning.
See, that's my intention, but sometimes I feel like my material. See, like the thing is, what is it? Like, yeah, you want to be fun and flirty, right? But sometimes isn't the fun and flirty of triumph really nice too? Like
It is for sure, no question. I mean, see, and once again, I think there's this other aspect to it, right? I think it's important to be who you are,
Of course.
right?
I agree.
This is who I want to be, and this is who I am. Or like, see, I'm a happy person by nature, right? Like, yeah, I go through the anxieties of the day. I go through the stresses of work life, family life, whatnot, right? I go
Yeah.
through I go through all of that. But at the end of the day, I am a happy person, and that's what I want to project. Or and that
Project.
authenticity has to be there, right? Like,
Yes.
we all have to be true to ourselves,
Yes.
right? If we have a sad story to tell, I think we should be able to say it, right? Like, hey, so long as we're making a point or so. I mean, yeah, a lot of people do dark comedy, right? Yeah, I mean, I think it's a reflection of who they are, what they're experiencing in their life. So I don't think it's necessarily there's no right or wrong.
Yeah,
Right?
I agree. I
I
agree.
remember, like, we were talking about the word motherfucker, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
we talked about it, right? Like, yeah, I used to feel so bitter. I used to feel so disappointed. Like, why that word? Like, why?
Yeah.
Like, it's why, right?
Yeah.
Like, and I think now I'm, after being in comedy, after, like, just going through the experience, like, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it, right? I get the way some of this. I get the way, there is, like, people swear, right? I get the use of these words in the way of
Context.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's not just context. It's not even context. I think we have brought it to an even easier level to say, hey, these are words,
Yeah.
right? Like, don't attach so much
Emotion.
exactly,
Exactly.
right? Like, don't
Yeah.
attach so much emotion to it, right? And hey, if that words rolls off the tongue and it like it's funny to 10 others, it's fine.
Yeah.
I think there's a struggle within me,
Uh-huh.
right? Like, is it is it necessary? I think is another aspect.
That's what
to
my
that.
mom always says. Is it do you
Yeah.
have to say it?
Exactly. I that's definitely right. Like,
Yeah.
51-year-old Indian man raised in Chennai.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask that question. Definitely, there's no.
Yeah, I think
there is
she's
no question
55
about that.
too. So you
Yeah.
and her are just the same.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. Like, I think, your parents and I are probably
Yeah.
sort of like similar generation,
Mhm.
right? So I'm definitely going to ask that question,
Yeah.
right? Like, because that's in me, right? Like, it's who I am.
Of
I will
course.
ask that question. At the same time, I think I've learned not to be so mad at it or not to be so disappointed,
Yeah.
right?
Especially if you're in the space. Yeah. But you know, one thing I thought was really funny, like that word, right? You know what? My dad gave me this really good gem. He was like I was like talking about some type of like death shit, you know, because I don't mind talking about like any type of death. Because in Indian culture, we have reincarnation, right? So it's really based on karma. If you're good, you'll come back good. And if you're bad, you'll come back bad. And not even good and bad, just like circumstances, right? So I was like, Dad, why doesn't this audience sometimes like, I talk about this like reincarnation, dying sometimes. And he's like in America, they have a hard time talking about death, but they have an easy time talking about sex. But in India, they have a hard time talking about sex, but an easy time talking about death. And when he put that kind of in perspective, because I did like one or two like Indian like kind of Indian shows, and like when I got to like my relationship material, I just like I felt like, oh, this is stop it. I felt like stop. What are you doing? Bus.
Very interesting perspective, actually. I mean,
Yeah.
I really like enjoyed what you just said, like what your dad said,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, I think it's true, right? And by the way, I love the joke that you do about reincarnation. Like, what if I reincarnated into a Dunkin' Donuts family or something like that?
That'd
Right?
be
Like,
so
that's
shitty,
right.
dude. It's
Yeah.
awful.
That's no, that's a really funny bit.
Yeah.
I lost my train of thought, but
No, it's just go ahead.
yeah, I will always ask the question,
Yeah.
right? But because that's who I am, right? Like, is it really necessary, right? Like, is it really, like, yeah, is
It is
but-
necessary,
and-
I think,
and
sometimes.
yeah, that's fine, right? Like,
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. I've come to peace with hey, every person has to be authentic to who they are, right? And
No, I don't think it's authentic to me. I don't want to be out here cursing, but I feel like if I'm doing a 1 a.m. set, now I've kind of learned to also learn with the audience. So if it's 1 a.m. and they're all drunk and you say a couple of these bad words, they feel like you're on their side. They feel like you're a part of their circle. I was like, somehow I got suckered into a frat in college, and I learned all about like party culture. It just thrusted upon me, and I have this great knowledge because usually the audience is like drunk or they're drinking or they're on drugs, and you're like, oh, this is how you treat this person, So I think knowing
that's actually a very interesting.
yeah,
Just
knowing your
that's
audience.
an interesting point of view, because then all my sets will bomb terribly if I did it at like 1 a.m.
Yeah,
I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
No, but
it helps me because I've always felt awkward.
no, that's see. I think the point you're making about making the audience feel that you're part of them,
Yeah.
that you're with them. I think that's a very important,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like it's a skill,
Yeah.
if you will, right? So I think that's a beautiful thought, actually,
Yeah.
right? For me, I talked about authenticity, right? Like, I have to be who I am.
Of course.
I'm not, first of all, 51-year-old man. Like, I can't just come out and like keep talking about sex.
Oh yeah.
Secondly, I don't even think I can do it because that's not who I am,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like, I'm not going to do it because, yeah, that's exactly right. I was raised in an environment where it's the most uncomfortable conversation, and I personally believe,
Yeah.
right? Sex is this like really magical, beautiful thing,
Mm-hmm.
right? That the only person you should talk about it is with the person that
Of
you're
course.
with,
Yeah.
or you want to be with,
Mhm.
right? That's how my brain is wired,
Yeah.
right? Like, so I'm never going to do it. right? Like, so same thing, right? Like, I'm never going to say motherfucker on stage,
Yeah.
right? Like, yeah, I'm not going to. It's just that's just how I'm built,
Yeah.
right?
And that's
At
nothing
the
bad
same
about.
time,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, I think I've chilled
Yeah.
about, yeah, right, like how people express themselves.
Yeah. No, and I think that's good because sometimes, I mean, some people express too much on stage, and I'm like if some people are going through like a bad breakup and they're like, other parties are kind of, they do comedy. That's why I don't eat where I shit. Like I would never really date a comic because once they start like getting on stage and talking shit, I'm like, oh no, like now they're airing all of our dirty laundry that I thought was so precious to us. No. So I get that, I mean, but if they're not comics, I mean, I have some dating material in my act, but like I'm always the punchline. You know what I mean? I've never put any of my women down.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
know that's
That's the key, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Just like the Indian accent. I treat Indian accents and women the same in my material. Keep them up there.
yeah. No, I think no, and those are some of the things that I actually learned in the classes as well, right? Like any character that you introduce
Yeah.
in your act, right? Give them the same level, give them the same importance as your character or something bigger, right? Like never punch down.
Yeah,
I
I
think
am actually the biggest loser in the whole circle.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think that was a beautiful thing I took away from both the classes I took at Helium, right? Like us.
Was actually never punched down. It's actually the difference between a roast and a boast, right? Like almost like a compliment roast, that is magical. Like if you look at someone and you're like, I go to the gym, right? So I appreciate like a big dude. He worked hard. So if I saw a big dude in the audience, I'm like, oh bro, you work out, I want to fuck you. Right? And that gets a big laugh because it's like, it's not an insult. I appreciate, like, he spends so many hours in the gym getting those muscles. You know what I mean? I love that. It gets me excited actually because I spend a lot of hours in the gym.
Yeah.
So that, I consider that like a boast. Like it's like a positive roast, and I try to live in that realm.
That's a good way to think about it.
Yeah, like
I think
yesterday I was doing a show, Mario had me on, and I was doing my Dairy Queen thing where I try to have them all guess, and then I have them guess, I move on, I tell them it's Dairy Queen, and then this guy's like, ironically, he says customer service, and then I was like what? And then some lady is like, we already know. And then I was like, oh, this guy, are you high? And then like I was like, okay, brother, like now we're together. And that got like a huge laugh, even though like he was a like idiot, right? But I was like, no, like it's okay, like I understand. So I'm gonna help you, help us, help the whole organization. So yeah, I don't like to insult anyone ever. I like to make them like, you have to bring them in.
Mm-hmm.
That's our job.
Yeah.
As
No,
Indian
absolutely.
comics, we got to be fun and flirty.
Yeah.
No,
as a comic,
Yeah.
like forget Indian comic. Like as a comic, I think it's important. It's our job.
No, I think some people like Anthony Jeselnik, I don't know how he does it. His writing is so good and he's so dark. Like if I think sometimes if I say what he would say, people will be like, "Oh, bro, cut that out." You know Anthony Jeselnik?
No, I don't.
Oh, okay. He's a
No,
very
I think I understand what he's saying.
Yeah.
Right? Like, yeah. We have to sort of, and I think we talked about it a little earlier also, right? Like, I think we have to stay in our lane a little bit.
yes,
Right, like
yes.
We can happily make fun of who we are, right? But when it comes to making fun of others, right? Like you have to be, I think there's a line,
Yeah.
right? Like, and you have.
Oh, I
it's-
agree.
it's-
I mean, I like only stay in my lane because I don't like to cause conflict. You know what I mean? Some people like conflict.
It's not needed.
Yeah.
Same thing, right? Like, is it needed? No, it's
I
not needed, right?
see.
Like we're here to laugh,
Yeah.
right? So, absolutely, there's no need for conflict.
These are all good point of views, but sometimes my dark side comes over, and I'm like, hey,
That's okay.
yeah, I know, but but like if I'm doing a show, I'll only positive. If I'm doing an open mic, that's when I'll let some little dark shit rip because you have to be able to make real like trauma in your life. Like other people have probably experienced it, right? Like so, it's like if you can just make it funny, experiment at an open mic, like, and then take it to a show, but tell it with a smile.
Yeah.
Wrap it up with a smile.
Yeah, absolutely.
Always fucking works.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I talk about my situation too.
Yeah.
Right. At the same time, right, I will make sure that it doesn't come out like it's not a position of hate or like it's not.
Don't feel sad for me.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's not coming from a sad place, right? Like I'm just trying to take something I think is silly and funny, is silly in my life, and like blow it out of proportion
Of
to
course,
make it like
yeah.
make it sound like
Mm.
yeah, that's to make it funny,
Yeah.
right? And that's
the end
absolutely
goal.
right. Like we should, yeah. There's no harm in exploring those parts of your life which are not necessarily perfect.
Uh-huh.
In fact, I think that's what the audience wants to hear. Actually,
Yeah.
Like, nobody wants to hear about I'm in a good job, I'm earning like XK, or like nobody wants to hear about all that. Like I think they want to hear, and it's always the tough parts of your life which provide those contradictions, which provide a basis for comedy. Actually, right?
Yeah.
Like only if there is a contradiction that exists in a certain situation, you can make it funny because you can see the other side of it. Because everything's perfect, right? Like if it's beautiful, and that's it. That's the end of it. Right, like I woke up, I had a great day at work, I was very productive, everybody was very appreciative of it, like, and then I went and worked out, and then I had a nice dinner, and went to sleep, right? There's no room for humor there. Only when a contradiction exists in something, then there is room for humor, because then you can see the other side of it.
No. I like that. I learned an important writing tip. I just wrote down contradictions. That, I think, opposing viewpoints. You can't just have one viewpoint. You have to present the other side.
Yeah.
And that's what creates comedy too.
Yeah.
See, that's what I mean. Like, I'm not a writer. So every time I talk to someone who writes, I get these little gems and I'm like, oh. Like, someone made this joke about me the other day and I'm going to use it now. They called, oh man, look, a brown guy with a mullet. That's Asian fusion. Like food, almost like Asian fusion food. I was like, oh, that's so good. I'm going to use that.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. What do you think about joke stealing? Is that joke stealing? Can I get canceled for that? It was about me.
I wouldn't do it, but there are definitely some jokes out there which I felt like, holy shit, I wish I wrote that joke, right? I mean, and that happens all the time, right? Like, because, like, hundreds of comics just around us. A lot of them have good material, and some of them, like, sometimes that joke will appeal to you so much. Like, it's so simple in its construction. It's it's just like it pops, right? Like, and then you wish, shit, I wish I had written that joke. And I've been tempted to. I've done this a couple of times, right? Like, I used a Russell Peters joke to sort of build my joke.
Okay.
Right? Like, so I didn't just come and say his joke. Like, I would say Russell Peters talks about how Indians are good at like tax, right? Like, so I used that aspect and I said it like this is Russell Peters said in his this, and then right. So I've done that a couple of times. But whenever I've done it, I will always say it, like, that's a Russell Peters joke, by the way, right? And that actually gets a laugh, because like you're shamelessly admitting that you stole a joke, right? Like, so first of all, I would never steal a joke. Well, I can't say I have never, but I would like not to.
Sometimes it happens.
That said, if somebody steals my joke, I would feel really happy about it. Hey, that first of all, you're giving me you're making me feel so happy because you found it worthy enough to steal my joke. Number one. Number two, see, I've got to this point in life where it's important to share ideas, right? Like, just give it away free. Like, give it. It's fine, right? Like,
that's why the podcast is free.
Yeah. That's pretty cool.
I get you.
By the way, this is so cool.
Oh, thank you.
I've
brother.
enjoyed this. Like, I don't know how long we've been talking, but
about a little bit over an hour.
Fantastic.
I got a couple more questions. We're gonna wrap this up.
Yeah, sure.
Sure.
I have one question for you.
Yeah, go ahead.
But
no, what were you just saying before this?
Completely off.
It's all right. Let's forget it. Yo, Lakshmi, let me ask you this. If you could have the best day ever, right? The best day. You have all the money in the world. You know, access to fucking jets, a yacht, whatever you need to do. You have about like 32 hours because so I asked some dudes and they're like, you know, bro, I'm gonna do so much coke. I need more than 24 hours. And I said, okay, that's true. So if you had 32 hours from morning when you wake up to like fucking when you go to bed, what does that day look like?
It's in the company of a beautiful woman
Okay.
whom I love
Okay.
and who loves me back.
Sure.
That's it.
No. Now give me. What do you guys do?
I don't know. What we're doing, whatever we're doing, right? Like, see, there's always this in a relationship, right? Like when two people, right? There's always this. There will always be things that you like doing together. Right?
Yes.
And whatever that is, right? Like maybe it's a hike, maybe it's going to New York City, right? Like maybe it's having dinner, maybe it's whatever, right? Like or maybe it's just like series of things, right? Like but that's what I want.
Okay. All right.
That's
fair
what I
enough.
want. Like,
Yeah.
I would want to spend those 32 hours every minute in the company of a beautiful woman
Yeah.
I love who loves me back.
Could we almost get a hooker and just
Hey, you know what? Why not? If I connect with her,
Yeah.
why? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like
I
if that person is, like like
Mm-hmm.
yeah, like I said, right? Like if I think if I can really love that person and they can love me back, like
Yeah.
absolutely, right? Like I don't think.
Now that I think about it, you
Once
did-
again, those are also labels. I think. Right?
Yeah. You also said earlier that you would love to like travel, backpack Europe and all that. So I guess really that's like your best day ever. You know what I mean? Now, like if you were to do it solo
Yeah.
dolo, but now if you had a lady
In the company of a beautiful woman in Paris, walking around on a beautiful sunny day, right? Like, and then
Are
having
you
a
a
lovely dinner. And like,
Are you a
know,
vegetarian?
I am.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. So you're
Yeah.
eating like I don't know, just what are you eating out there in Paris? Baguettes. She's out there like
I'll just be eating chocolate croissant all day. Like you know.
You love chocolate?
I love food.
Okay.
Period.
Big food guy.
I eat like crazy. I'm just blessed with good metabolism.
Mm-hmm.
So you know.
You exercise at all? Or this is all natural.
I run. I used to run quite a bit. I've not been running in the last couple of months.
Damn, running at 51.
But
That's nice.
I really enjoy running. I mean, like I don't run fast. It's like a slow jog.
Hey, that's,
But
I
even
get
still,
it, brother. You're still
I used
doing
to put in the hours,
Yeah.
so to speak, right? Like I used to put in the hours. It's just been slow in the last couple of months, so I don't feel great about that. Like I just want to restart. Like last Saturday I went out for a run. It
Nice.
felt good. The weather's got better. I'm not a big fan of cold weather, so
Dude,
like-
you're Indian. You like warm and mangoes.
yeah, exactly. I'm like at 90 degrees. I'll happily be out there and eating mangoes. Absolutely.
This man a mango, goddamn it.
yeah, exactly.
I love mangoes too. Now I'm just getting
Yeah, no, I'm
typical
saying like,
stereotypical
yeah,
brown.
absolutely. I'm a food. I'm a vegetarian, but I pretty much like eat everything, right? Like I
Yeah.
have no restrictions, right? Like I've tried all these things, right? Like I've tried. Okay, I want to lose that stomach that I have, but I've tried cutting out like I don't drink milk at all. I drink my coffee black. I've tried to have restrictions. I've like tried skipping one meal in a day, right? Like
Yeah.
it just nothing ever works for me.
Yeah.
I stay like that for a few days and then like I get right back to it
Mhm.
because I just like food. That's all, right? Like
This is
see,
what.
I came here thinking I had a heavy lunch. I'm not going to eat dinner tonight.
Yeah.
But who knows? Like I'll go back home. I'll put on the World Cup cricket is going on, right?
Yeah.
Like so I'll put on a game, right? I may feel like eating curd rice. So
Yeah.
I'll just like make some curd rice for myself and eat it.
Yeah.
Right? You know what I'm saying? So
I
don't,
do know what you're saying.
yeah. I'm like that. I just love to eat, and
Here's what my rule on life is: if you have a dad bod, but you're a fucking dad, hey, what's the problem?
yeah.
You know. See, the thing is, I'm getting chiseled, because I don't have a child, and I'm 30, Lakshmi.
No, see, I would like to be chiseled.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I would like to go through that process of, and I really like really like your posts from the gym, right? Like, and
Thank you.
I keep liking them. And there's a reason, right? Because number one, it's extreme discipline.
I'm
right?
trying.
Like whether you're doing it at 5 a.m. or like 4 p.m., 5 p.m., whatnot, right? I think it's discipline. I have great respect for people who can do that, right? Like
Thank
people
you.
who can be very consistent. I think, the discipline and consistency are, I think, like super important. Whatever you're doing, right? No matter what who you are, right? I think whatever you're doing, it's super important. So I think that I tremendously respect.
Thank you.
Right. And yes, I imagine this all the time, right? Like, how cool would it be if I find the motivation to go and like work out every day and actually, right? And I have this vision, right? Like when I'm on stage, I want to look good. I want to look good. I think it's for me. It's important for me. I don't know why.
Me too.
I don't know
get
why.
it. Yeah.
I want to look good, right?
Yeah.
Because I think it's another way you connect with the audience.
Yeah.
Right. Like it's, hey, this guy. Okay, it looks like he's putting in the hard work, right?
Mhm.
Like whatever, right? There's something about it, right?
And if you say something shitty, they're like, at least he's cute.
Well, I don't know about that, but 51-year-old, almost balding head, but
No, you're cute for another 51-year-old woman. You know what I mean? Like,
that's fair.
yeah,
That's fair.
come on, man, brother. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder.
That's fair. That's fair. No, but I'm saying I would love to go through that process.
Yeah.
But in a way, I'm actually very lazy, right? And I'm not lazy like I won't do the work that I'm supposed to do. It's not like that.
Yeah.
Right? But I'm lazy in, I think I've got to that, I don't know, I've got to the point where I read this beautiful concept about following your energy, or listen to your energy, right? Like, hey, if you feel like going for a run at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, do it,
Yeah.
right? Like, yeah, but I seem to listen to the energy of wanting to eat more than anything else, right? Like, so, yeah. Hey, I feel like this morning I went out, I had to go to the bank, and then I had to go pick up groceries. Like, when I went to pick up groceries, the store that I went to had a little breakfast display, and they had some like egg and cheese on an English muffin, right? Like, so I picked it up and put it in my cart. I like checked it out with my groceries. I came home and I ate it.
Yeah.
I ate it at like 11 o'clock, and then at 2 o'clock I ate like pulao.
Yeah, that's fine.
Right? Like,
yeah.
so
Pulao is
that's
great.
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I seem to listen to the energy of wanting to eat more than the energy of like wanting to really go and work out or do something like really hard. I don't know. I think it's a phase in my life that I'm going through that. I was running very seriously, right? Like, and I would love to get back and run seriously.
Yeah. But to be honest, Lakshmi, let me tell you something. As this guy who's on this fitness journey, I work out so extreme as I do because I also don't have a restriction on diet, right? So if I'm going to consume 4,000 calories in a day, I'm going to burn 5,000. And I'm gonna swim. I'm gonna go to the gym. I'm gonna fucking do pre-workout and work out for 3-4 hours. You know what I mean? But as you get older, it's like you can't do this. It's unfair to ask.
Yeah.
Right. So like even like I am now thinking about my fitness journey. It's like this right here. This is only sustainable for so long, and then this is kind of will carry me into like the next. So like, do you walk at all?
I do.
Yeah, walking is great. You don't need to. Running is actually bad for your knees. I have bad knees and hip flexors. I'm owed. I'm due for some trouble. You know what I mean? So as long as can you sit down Indian style? Like
I can.
I can't comfortably. So it's like I'm owed for some trouble. You know
Got
what I mean?
it. I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Like just because the gut is there a little bit, but the rest of the fucking skeleton is working at 51, you're sitting in a beautiful position. You know what I mean? Like, sure, I have biceps, but is my skeleton sitting at 30 good? No. Yeah, I'm in trouble. Like, so, like, just think about the gut as like a reward. Yeah. You know, it's like your belt. It's like when a wrestler
It's like
wins
I've
a
lived a
belt.
satisfying life.
Yeah. You know, back in the day when there was kings and shit, if they were fat, that means they were successful. And if you were skinny, you were a peasant. I have like a doctor friend. He's a dentist. He makes like fucking 250, maybe 300,000, and he's always like, Bhav, I want to look like you. I tell him, like, Teak, this is a poor man body. You have that good man. Let me go get lobster tonight. You know, I am eating fucking oatmeal and banana for breakfast. You know, like, it's okay. So you have a good belly.
Well,
Happy belly.
You just made me feel really good about myself. So thank you.
That's my job, baby.
No, that's good. That's good. Like, I think it's a skill, right? Like making other people feel good about themselves.
But
like,
it's true. It's true. Like, I want to, like, I'm only trying to get abs this once. So when I'm old, I can look back, and if I have kids and a wife and grandkids, I can look at my grandkids and be like, look, and they'll be like touching my belly. Oh, Dad. Oh, Grandpa, look at your belly, right? And I'm like, your grandpa used to have abs one day. Shut up. Yeah. That's all I want.
Well,
So I'm gonna get it in the next couple months, and then I'm ripping a belly, dude. I don't give a hell.
that's awesome. Like, I'm glad that you're that brave.
Yeah.
That you're willing to have a belly. I'm not.
Belly is healthy. A certain amount of body fat percentage is actually good for you. When you start breaking under a certain amount, like there are some guys when they do these bodybuilding contests, right? They're so fucking no fat under their heels. It's skin to bone. So when they walk, it hurts. Like they're cutting down so much weight. It's like, it's not natural. You should live at a certain percentage. You know what I mean? And you're not like, you can breathe good. You're sleeping well.
Yeah.
All the fucking vital things are happening.
Yeah.
So just a little belly is okay.
Yeah.
You know?
So long as that woman whom I want to be with for 32 hours likes it, I'm good.
Hey, brother, if she's going to be, like I always say, even for chicks about like that, like me, they're not here for whatever this is, because this can change, right? You can get fat, you can get skinny, you can break an arm, whatever. You can get a motorcycle accident, whatever. If they like you, they like what's happening in the dome.
Well.
So is she gonna like you no matter belly or no belly, baby?
Well, that's what I'm hoping for.
Yeah. just take the whole thing out. Just come in half body robot. All right. So what did you want to ask me then? Let's get out of here.
Yeah. Why the sunglasses?
Oh yeah, the sunglasses, baby. Because Lakshmi, I'm ugly. I've been ugly my whole childhood.
No, you're not.
I know. But like in reality, us Indian kids in America, you know what we learned, and maybe your son learned this too. You're ugly in this white America. And then when you turn like 16, maybe to 24, 28, you start growing into this beautiful flower. See, I don't know, for one reason, Indian kids, when they're a little ugly sometimes. Like, especially if they're hairy, like some have hairy genes and like, you know what I mean? Yeah, so I don't really have too much hair, but like I had like, I had a weird little face at a time, and I had to grow into this, the jaw and everything. So now I look good now, and I know that, but there was a time. So I always wore sunglasses, and then when you go to college and you start getting like drunk and shit, and you're outside like at the day party, it's nice to have sunglasses on. And I'm a man of sunglasses until I die now. So
that's pretty cool. It's fascinating that you made this 51-year-old dad bod, wear white sunglasses for this podcast.
Yeah, I know. I mean, that's my job, baby. Just to, connect all the dots. So it's good. Lakshmi, tell them where to find you on the social medias.
Wow. That's a huge challenge.
Yeah. Why?
You know how long my name is, right? Like,
yo, yeah.
Yeah, finding me. Well,
what about your Instagram?
I'm on Facebook and Instagram. Those are the two.
I'll put it down below you. Don't worry. Yeah. Hell yeah.
But it's my whole name. It's like Lakshminarayan Balasubramaniam.
Oh, dude. I mean, what were your parents even thinking? I used to do a joke that was basically like, why?
Hey, it's my best joke. So.
I know. Yeah.
They had a lot of foresight, I would say.
I used to say like, why didn't my dad give me like an American name and like the Asian guys figured it out. Like, there's like Jimmy instead of like he song, So like when I'd be like at parties, I'd be like Bhavik, and they'd be like, what? And then they just leave me for like some guy named John. And I was like, nah.
But Bhav I think is cool.
Yeah, but now Bhav came after like 27 years. I finally figured it out, But the first 27, I was living a tough life.
See, you can be Bhav.
Yeah. Now I am.
Like, there's
Yeah, now it's
like,
chilling.
I can't do that. I can't even do that. Like there's no hope for me.
No, you're a Lak. I like
Yeah.
that big Lak. I love that, dude. You know, I love Lak. It's like LAK. I think that's really chill.
I'm going by Lakshmi now. You want to make it Lak or Lak? That's
Yeah. Well, how do you? What? That's a currency, right? One Lak.
yeah, it is.
And what does that mean? Like 1,000?
100,000.
100,000. So that's good. 6 figures, baby.
Yeah,
Big Lak.
yeah. Big luck.
All right, brother. Thank you for coming through. This was awesome.
Likewise,
Yeah.
likewise. Thank you so much for having me.
No problem. Deuces.